You're watching TBT on ESPN as we close down day 2, round 2 of the Memphis Regional. It's the 2-seed Bluff City and the 6th Louisiana United from Roan Fieldhouse. Courtside here at the City of Blues, Matt Martucci, Tim Scarborough. We just had a Elam ending that had a century mark in terms of target score. What's this one bring tonight? A lot of athletic ability, I think, is the answer.
Yeah, this is a 6-2 matchup, but don't be fooled by those numbers. This Louisiana United team is for real. They were a little short-handed, but they put enough talent together, and the way they play together, I suspect that if the score is up high, it favors that team.
Only 6 players yesterday for Louisiana United, but the 6 that they did have, spearheaded by the guy that put this roster together, Tyron Johnson.
Yeah, he told us yesterday he wasn't even planning on playing because he wanted to be just the GM. Now he's the GM and the player.
And Louisiana United and Johnson with a 16-point win over Team Arkansas, and Bluff City taking care of Team 901 in the Memphis matchup.
And you know, we talked about Tyron Johnson, and we'll look at him. He was the guy that kind of carried the load offensively yesterday, and they'll need him supposedly and others. But you see right there the energy he brings. He's a pro, plays in France, and he plays like a pro. Look at this cut right here. Smart play, gets it to the rim. At 6'7", he's versatile enough to play the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. And because they were short-handed, he played all those positions to perfection. On the other side, Bluff City has a host of talent, but Darius Washington is an assassin. He was dynamite yesterday, going off the dribble, a little stare for the camera. Darius from downtown was terrific as well. Knocked out a couple of threes that we knew they were going in the second they left his hands. But Chris Crawford as well was terrific. You see him going off the dribble. He was their leading scorer. And when they needed the Elam ending bucket, it was Chris Crawford who delivered the knockout punch.
Starting lineups tonight, presented by Air Force Reserve. In addition to Johnson, Marcus Posley, Patrick Richard, both big-time offensive threats. Posley, fill it up potential as a former All-Atlantic 10 selection at St. Bonaventure.
And Posley, you remember, he played against this Louisiana United team last year, and Tyron Johnson recruited him immediately after their game. They beat that Showtime team with Marcus Posley, but they saw what he could do, and they immediately added him to the roster.
Same starting 5 as yesterday for Bluff City: Earl Barron, Adonis Thomas, Will Coleman, Chris Crawford, and a non-Memphis Tiger, but a Memphis native in Taylo Taylor.
Taylo Taylor, the guy, number 4, that makes them go. But my guy is 99 problems right there. Thomas, number 99. Adonis is a guy that will impact this game at both ends of the floor. A lot of energy. He'll come up with timely buckets as well.
Bluff City in the blue. And the white for Louisiana United, Jordan Tolbert will jump it up along with Will Coleman. And it's Coleman from Bluff City who wins the tap. We're underway.
Toots, this is going to be exciting. Two very well, a lot of professionals on the floor. This is going to be a well-played game, in my opinion.
Barron trying to set up Coleman. Hey, a little turnaround. By the way, he's a 7-footer.
And you got bucket makers out here at both ends. I mean, that was not a very good offensive possession, but they found a way to get a decent shot, and it falls for them. The Bluff City, this Memphis Tigers alumni team playing at home with an advantage.
Barron, one of 4 players who has some NBA experience on this roster. Thomas is another one.
There he is. That's just one of the 99 problems he brings for you. Adonis Thomas.
Had 10 yesterday and a couple of threes. Have to honor the big A.J. Packer from out there. Showed the ability to knock down that shot yesterday.
Packer will let it fly at 6'10". He's a typical Euro-type player. I'm not even going to say that anymore. American players play the same way. Not that he's from Europe or anything, but he plays over there. But every big now, it seems, can step out and stroke it from downtown.
Thomas, little heat check early on.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, right? Got to see if that hot light is on.
To the basket for Johnson, picking up where he left off yesterday. Counted and the foul.
Such a good player. Imagine him not playing in this and just over there coaching. That would be a miscarriage of justice. This guy is entertaining. Take a look in transition. The bump, the hoop, and the harm. Johnson will go to the line. Traditional three-point play, complete.
68% foul shooter Tyron Johnson in France. And Louisiana United, after missing its first 3 shots, has a field goal and a free throw. A Bluff City team put together by Will Coleman, who's in the starting lineup. One of the guys who are motivated to win money, not worried about impressing scouts and getting a shot at the NBA.
Yeah, because there is some of that going on. You could understand this, people using this stage as an audition of sorts. It's on ESPN, all the games. You have an opportunity to play against other pros. So for some people, it's shine time, but it's not necessarily shine time when you're trying to win $2 million.
And there's Packer from the outside. And 6 straight for Louisiana United after what was a 5-0 spurt out of the gate.
Well, how about that pass, though? Skip pass from the other side of the court on the money, and Packer able to catch it in rhythm and knock it down.
Thomas and Barron, little 2-game. Shot clock down to 10. Taylor, stop on a dime. And over the back is Barron, go down the other way.
And this is what I talked about, the versatility of Tyron Johnson. Taylor is a blow-by guy. And at 6'7", a lot of guys that size wouldn't be able to stay in front of Taylor. He made Taylor pull up and shoot a tough one, got the miss, and now they have the possession.
Look over there, by the way, at the Louisiana United bench.
Yeah.
On the left of your frame, upper left, just went out of frame. And they do only have 6 players again.
A little sparse. Wow. So Bernard King didn't make it?
They were expecting that maybe he would. Top 10 all-time leading scorer in the Big 12 from Texas A&M. But apparently did not make the trip. Thomas has made plenty of trips to the basket.
Be careful when that inbounds pass was nearly stolen. As Marcus Posley able to run it down. But Tylo Taylor was right there lurking.
5 of the 7 for the Adonis of this roster. Shot clock cut in half for Tyron Johnson. Richard, catch and shoot.
When you think about some of the guys that are missing for this Louisiana United team, and you have to wonder why they got a 6 seed instead of something a little higher. But obviously, there's just so many good teams in TBT that everybody can't get a top 3 seed.
Posley cold to start with another miss.
But even with all those guys missing, this Louisiana United team certainly had enough in the tank yesterday. We'll see if they're up to the task today against the home standing Bluff City. Oh, he traveled. He picked that pivot foot up.
Yeah, you can't have 2 pivot feet.
Yeah, that's – I don't know if that's actually in the rule, but it certainly should be. I think they just talk about – I got to see the language, but I'm pretty sure you can't pick that other foot up.
Can't do that, right? Don't think so. Posley and Taylor might have gotten away with a shove.
Yeah, but they're not calling that kind of stuff, too.
Not in this region, anyway.
And they are letting them play.
Richard got it blocked, but stayed with it and fouled.
Now, if you push a guy off and he falls, and then you get to the basket, they're going to call a foul or offensive foul. Or if you push a guy off because he's bumping you and you lose the ball, they're going to call a defensive foul. But all that other stuff is ancillary. They are not calling it. And I like that.
Not quite old NBA physicality, but it's...
No, not even close to that.
Packer, good start for him.
But it's
showing the inside-outside.
It's not that you breathe on me on the perimeter. I'm going to the line, James Harden.
But it's also not Rick Mahorn and Lambeer either.
No, it's not that. The bad boys.
More than halfway past in the first quarter. Catch and shoot. This time Hunt didn't do much yesterday.
And you don't really have to run a lot of sets or anything like that when you have pros on the floor. You just run your continuity, you get the ball screen, you rotate the shooter up, you just play out of it.
Jeremy Hunt, another guy who had a successful career at Memphis. This is him again. Sets up Thomas, sniping. Barron wanted to tap it in rhythm, just couldn't get it.
And ended up coming up blank. I like Richard, though, number 35. 0 for 3 in this one. He was tough yesterday.
Packer.
Tough.
And batted out. Fresh shot clock, and Richard takes advantage.
Not going to keep giving him that shot and expecting him not to make it.
Louisiana United and their head coach Brad Boyd up in front.
Richard had 12 points yesterday as well.
Tyler Stone staring it down. Former All-OVC first-team selection at Southeast Missouri State. That's 6 yesterday in their first-round win. Basically 6 or 7 guys with similar skill sets on this Memphis roster. Off the dribble for Johnson.
Buckets. And Chris Crawford started this game, but he went out pretty early. Officially 0 for 1 in 4 minutes, so that's a guy for Bluff City that needs to get it going.
No worry for Thomas.
Nah, no worries. Adonis.
Hakuna Matata on Lion King release weekend.
How about that? Problem-free philosophy.
Thomas again in the right spot. Hunt telegraphed it, somehow found its way to Barron. Bucket and the line.
Great hands by Earl Barron to corral that ball. Looks like he paid the price with his left shoulder. He's grimacing a little bit of pain as he walks back to the bench. But this has been fun early.
Bluff City reclaiming the lead. Back and forth we've gone in Memphis, sharing the basketball, and Hunt the recipient. But Richard with some trifecta of his own. You'll see some of the most original and colorful TBT uniforms this tournament, so be sure to check them all out over at TBTgear.com. Treat yourself to some great-looking TBT apparel. Again, TBTgear.com. Tim Scarborough and I got our swag bags yesterday.
Love it. Loved everything in it.
I slept in TBT gear. It was great.
There you go. Was it comfy?
It was. Might have to invest in some Team CP3 gear down at Greensboro. They advanced to the Greensboro Regional.
And if they get the Team Hines CP3 final, that is going to be something.
73-68 over Power of the Paw. PJ Hairston, who had basically quit basketball, we found out yesterday. Hadn't played, was in what he said a very dark place. Comes back again with another big game. Had the Elam ending winner yesterday, 16 points today. Barron completes the three-point play here in Memphis. And gets a seat on the bench. Will Coleman back in for him.
And as fun as this weekend has been so far, Sunday is shaping up to be really special. You think about that Columbus region with the Dayton team versus the Ohio State alumni team. The whole state of Ohio will be watching that one tomorrow. As Dan Dockage and his son got separated. He did it. His son was on the Big X team as the coach. They got knocked out, but Dockage is still alive because he'll be calling that regional final tomorrow.
Hey, he's a big Lighty fan.
He loves Lighty, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Dawkins loves the Big Ten in general. He's got his favorites, that's for sure.
That's his territory,
Yep,
man.
it sure is.
Speaking of territory, Washington.
Dawkins coached at IU with my former head coach at Liberty, Jeff Meyer. That's how I met Dan Dawkins many years ago when they both worked for Kelvin Sampson and that IU staff.
Nice feed to the middle post. Tolbert lost it. Crawford transition, creating, and Washington nearly had the follow. Winded down the first quarter, a back-and-forth affair here in Memphis. Richard hit the side of the basket and out of bounds.
He just lost that. I know he's asking for a foul, but again, they're letting them play defensively. If you don't grab a guy or push him, they're not going to call that. That's incidental contact.
Tough start for Marcus Posley, by the way, for Louisiana United.
And that's how Pose was last year. You remember he had the big day the first day, and then the second day versus Louisiana United, he struggled.
Yeah, but the difference is this weekend he's gotten a good night's sleep, I'm assuming, both nights. Didn't have to take a red eye from the Las Vegas Summer League.
Yeah. He had 17 yesterday. He was terrific. Number 3, former St. Bonaventure standout. He and Jalen Adams played for Mark Schmidt, probably the most prolific scoring duo in the country that year. No look pass.
And Bartley got a shot off, but nobody home. End of one. And Bluff City with a good start, sharing the basketball and up by 5. The basketball tournament is brought to you by Puma Basketball. We go in the huddle, presented by Puma.
Stay with the defense intensity, man. Stay with the defense intensity. Okay. Because you have the right hand. Yeah. Start opening that motherfucker up.
Matt Dunn, Division I assistant at IUPUI. Also spent some time as an assistant at Northern Arizona and here in Memphis. Will Coleman told me there's only one guy I would think of to be our head coach. That's Matt Dunn.
Got his team up by 5 here early.
Crawford and Johnson. Great D from Chris Crawford. Shot clock down to 6. Posley having to be the bailout. Good ball movement. Richard. And Packer with the offensive glass. Johnson contested. Make that Bartley.
Darius Washington had leaked out and never came back. And then he gets a layup out of it.
It's the former 5-star recruit who played his college basketball right here with the Tigers. First bucket of the night. Pick and roll. Packer maybe heard some footsteps there and a little too unselfish.
When Packer caught the pass, it looked like he had a clear path to the basket. But Bluff City is spending a ton of energy at the defensive end. And take a look at this last bucket by Darius Washington. A simple sideline break. Little hesitation. Richard's got to get a better angle, and Packer has to step up and seal off that drive.
Bartley, catch and curl, his first one of the night. Only the third made 3 in 12 attempts for Louisiana United. Started off only 33% for the field overall as a team. 6 of 18.
Frank Bartley had a tough shooting day yesterday. 1 for 7 from 3.
Crawford hasn't had a tough one though.
Finally gets on the board.
Bartley, shooting gallery back and forth. 6 straight for Frank Bartley, the 4th. Former Sun Belt newcomer of the year at Louisiana with 1,300 career points at college. Johnson from the wing. Coleman wanted the offensive glass. Transition for Louisiana United. Posley serving it up, and Johnson take that elevator, top floor.
Great delivery though by Posley, and the belief in Tyron Johnson to go up and get it.
Ballots for Memphis early on.
Wow, didn't go.
The Bluff City team, 6 different Tigers had scored, but they give it away. Posley again started 0 for 4, and Hunt by himself.
I feel like if you leak out, you got to give us something. Not a layup. You got to give us a little show.
Jeremy Hunt, remember, is one of the senior members of Bluff City.
He would have did that 5 years ago, right? He would have dunked it.
He was one of their coaches last year on the Memphis team.
Yep.
Will Coleman convinced him to play. Johnson.
How about that range, Tooch?
Depleted roster, and he had to convince himself to play. They're glad he did.
He recruited himself. And, you know, again, we talked about this yesterday. He was playing in France, and in May, he was on the phone at all hours of the day trying to put this team together, put together a nice team, and half of them haven't been able to show up. And a great delivery by Johnson to Bartley.
8 now for Bartley, as 8 of their last 10.
And all of a sudden, Louisiana United has forged ahead. Bartley, 8 of their last 10 points, getting it done from behind the arc and in transition. And now a travel call on Darius Washington, and he can't believe it. Remember, Darius Washington was the guy that sent this this Bluff City team, the Memphis team, packing last year when he was on Team DRC with the late Elam ending ender. And now this year, playing with his alma mater.
And doing a good job of it. Bartley sells it and hit on the arm.
It's a veteran move. If you're going to stick your hand in the cookie jar, good offensive players know how to bring the ball up through your hand and force the foul to be called. So Bartley's going to get a couple of free ones.
Frank Bartley, who Tyron Johnson basically calls his little brother, even though he's not. But tight-knit relationship.
They play cousins. That's what we say in the hood. It's my play cousin.
9 for Bartley Jr., Bartley the 4th rather. 6-0 run for Louisiana United in the last 51 seconds.
Having a little spurt here. And that has to make Brad Boyd, the head coach, over there pacing the sidelines, happy with what he sees so far.
Washington left up on the rim. And Tolbert did a good job to not goaltend that.
Well, no, you can go get it.
It did hit the rim. Yep, so FIBA.
Yeah, it's FIBA rules.
FIBA rules.
But he stayed off playing that. You forget when you're in the United States that TBT is the one entity that allows you to play some FIBA.
Posley off the second chance. Washington. Hey, Thomas, that familiar spot, but an offensive foul.
Darius Washington off to a kind of a rugged start here. He's got 1 for 4 from the field. He's missed both his threes. Now he turns it over with the charge for his second turnover.
5 different Bluff City players have committed a personal. But no real foul trouble on either side.
Six fouls with 9-minute quarters. You're not going to see a lot of guys in foul trouble.
We did have one, though, last game.
We did, and we've yet to have a DQ, though.
And one of the Jackson underdogs ended up fouling out, Alan Durham.
Oh, that's right. He did foul out.
Barron, nice footwork on the block. And right around Tolbert. Yesterday was Darian Towns, his matchup from Team Arkansas. Barron presenting a little bit more of a challenge today.
Long.
Way off the mark for Johnson. Taylor off to the races. Barron, Washington, third chance, and got it.
Finally able to put that in, but it wasn't easy. Great job of getting back in transition and making it a tough one.
10th lead change of the game and our 11th. Richard cutting to the goal.
But that's Posley putting pressure on the defense by pushing the issue, turning the corner, forcing the help, and delivering the package.
Pick and roll with Barron. Late in the second quarter here in Memphis. Game 2 of round 2 in the $2 million winner-take-all tournament. One of 8 regions, 4 in action this weekend. Posley, separation.
Nice. Neither Posley nor Washington are exactly at their college game weight, but both are still extremely productive.
First field goal for Posley. Crawford says, hey, I've got a 3 for you.
Take 3 of these and call me in the morning.
3's too many, right?
Depends on how many milligrams the pill is.
I guess, how bad does your head hurt? Our first tie of the basketball game here in Memphis. Back and forth. And serving it up, Louisiana United. Posley and Johnson. Our first tie of the basketball game. Late here in the second quarter. The Memphis Region Round 2, the basketball tournament. Lexington third round has already been set up. Round 3, Loyalty is Love, and the Fort Wayne champs. Both Columbus and Lexington 1 versus 3 matchups tomorrow in their round 3.
Was it easy for Fort Wayne, though? They staved off the upset-minded D2 team who had knocked off the Bluegrass boys in that first round. TBT is tough, man. You can't really go by the seedings.
And in Greensboro, it's 1 versus 2. Team Hines and CP3.
Chalk in Greensboro. And boy, what a matchup. That's one, when this all got paired up, you say, man, that regional final is going to be special if it happens. And it did.
Mike James, big for Team Hines today in Greensboro. 25. For a player who went from what was a two-way, right, to a full-time contract?
Yeah. Did he play with the Heat? I know Mike James was supposed to be playing with the TNT, Florida TNT team. Terry Hughes, their GM, was trying to get him, but he lost a good one.
Tolbert missed the 3 badly. Crawford all the way to the glass. Pendulum swings back to Bluff City. Feel like we're going to be saying that a lot tonight.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Splash.
Lead changes, just back, forth, back, forth. Might as well go side to side. It's like a Willy Wonka elevator here. Thomas in traffic and into double figures. 10 for Adonis Thomas.
Jordan Tolbert, number 32 for Louisiana United, has been quiet today.
Bartley hasn't.
But Bartley has spoken loudly.
Team high 14 for Frank Bartley, the 4th. And an answer. Tyler Stone wastes no time. 6 different players with 4 or more here in the first half for Bluff City. Plenty of balance for the Memphis Alumni. Richard, 1 and done. Final 30 seconds here of our first half. Thomas, extra pass, Crawford.
Crawford tried to guide that one in. It was hotly contested up high, though. Pretty solid defense by Louisiana United. And man, what a skilled game this has turned out to be Not a lot of turnovers, not a lot of fouls. It's everything that we thought it was going to be. Two evenly matched teams.
Final 5 seconds. Posley, similar to yesterday, but couldn't get it to go this time. And beating the clock at the end of a quarter early in their round 1 matchup, just not this time. A first half with 3 ties and 13 lead changes. Buckle up to finish up the Memphis region round 2. One of these teams is going to the final. Well, the parents for 3 of the regional finals have been all set. Still waiting for ours. The second piece of it anyway. Louisiana United Bluff City tied at 39. And what was a back and forth first half. Matt Martucci, Tim Scarborough. And no surprise, these are 2 of the most athletic teams in this region. Bluff City's been on display the last 2 days.
A well-played first half. We talked about 99 problems. Adonis Thomas, he was every bit of that early going. Downtown from 3 and getting to the rim. And then Chris Crawford got off to a slow start, sputtered a little bit, but he finally got it going with that 3-point shot right there. At the other end, though, Louisiana United, a 6 seed, but they are formidable at times. And it was Bartley the 4th who stepped up and knocked down a few shots. Didn't really score a lot of points in the first game, but he stepped up this game with 14. Then Tyron Johnson, the guy who put this all together, says, "You don't want none of this smoke, son. Get some." Splash down from 3. Burn notice there by Johnson.
Tyron Johnson, another good day after a huge one yesterday. Double-double for Louisiana United. We're trying to move his team into regional finals Sunday. 4 different teams will advance tomorrow. Will Louisiana United get a chance? The 6 seed and the 2 seed, one of them will go on to tomorrow's round 3 and regional final. Right now tied at 39. For Tyron Johnson and Louisiana United, not a bad first half, and again, only playing with 6 guys for the second straight day.
Look at those shooting percentages, though. You know, the 48%, not too bad if you're Bluff City. 41, Louisiana United right there with them. Both knocked down 6 and 7 threes respectively. Neither team got a lot of free throws, and their rebounds are even. And as a result, the score is tied at 39. This is an evenly played game, evenly matched teams, despite the fact that Louisiana United is missing a lot of the weapons that they had slated to come to Memphis to have them do battle.
Yeah, a year ago with a completely different roster, nearly knocked off overseas elite. Bluff City, meanwhile, has never been past this round.
Yeah.
So this would be uncharted territory tomorrow.
Despite being a high seed each year, too. So this, if they could survive, but of course they've never played home games. So this is a nice luxury, although it didn't help that Bluegrass team in Kentucky playing in Lexington. They were a first-round knockout to the D2 team. So that had to be a bit of a disappointment for that alumni group. But Tooch, you think about the guys that Louisiana United had. They had Glenn Big Baby Davis was going to be with them, Brandon Bass, Marcus Thornton from LSU, Sean Long, who's now with Team Hines, Bo McCaleb, who was with them, and Brian Allen from Mason. We'll see him next week. I remember on the play that Jeremy Pargo got ripped by Tyron Johnson and they called a foul. It was Brian Allen who had the ball at midcourt before that whistle was blown. He was about to go get himself Elam Ender of all Elam Enders, knocking off overseas elite.
Big competitive teams, and just the excitement he brought to the field a year ago.
Yeah, some of that was miscommunication and confusion in terms of, remember, the region is a group that was a team that existed, but then most of the guys from Louisiana United were bamboozled, so to speak, and thought that the region was now Louisiana United, and they all went to sign up for that group. And so Tyron Johnson was left having to put together a whole new group, and Bo McCaleb was just confused and didn't know who he was going to play with, and ended up not playing with anyone.
And instead, the end result for Tyron Johnson and his guys, only 6 players. They thought they were going to have maybe 8 or 9. Bernard King had a family emergency. Jonathan Farrell unable to get here, former Murray State racer. They were counting on him to be an inside presence. And King, a guy who's scoring personified, even in his late 30s, averaged almost 16 a game in France.
But they've made do with the guys, as Gene Heckman said in Hoosiers, my team's on the floor.
A miss at one end for Barron and Bluff City. Coleman couldn't corral it, and then returning the favor, Louisiana United. Johnson missed the jumper. Coleman got stripped, and a foul on Richard.
And Coleman, another GM/player, extremely quiet in this game so far. Just one attempt in 9 minutes of play. So Will Coleman with a chance to get on the scoreboard for his team, going to the line for a couple.
Said this yesterday about Will Coleman. Has a knack for finding the basket, though hasn't found it today. That's actually his first point. And decided that he wanted to be a GM this year based on the result of the Memphis State team last year.
Yeah, they were very disappointed. The first thing he did was he got the guy who knocked him out, Darius Washington, to play with him. Of course, he played in Europe, France, Spain, Turkey, Greece. Pretty put together individual.
Mosley using the screen from Packer, feeds him. Just couldn't convert the mid-range.
Nice pocket pass delivered by Mosley, but Packer couldn't stroke it.
Columbus region will get us started tomorrow, followed by Lexington. And then Greensboro and right here in Memphis. 3 games that overlap. Crawford, hoping that they're the team that overlaps to tomorrow.
Oh. And if Crawford gets it going, it could be tough. He's now 4 for 8 from the field, 3 for 4 from downtown.
11 for Chris Crawford.
Now a steal
and the theft
giveaway.
Yep, for Taylor. And smart foul by Louisiana United.
Crawford at this last possession, though, that was a deep 3 with a hand in his face. Nothing but net and a little bit of jabber to talk about it afterwards. As you see him headed over to get this inbounds pass. And Crawford was very good yesterday as well, putting together another fine performance. He had 22 yesterday, 6 rebounds, 4 assists.
So far, TBT 6 of 12 from 3. 50% clip for Chris Crawford. Richard bumped on the way in.
And Crawford, of course, played here in Memphis from 10 to 14. 3-year starter. Freshman, sophomore, and senior years. Won Conference USA. That's back in the day where Memphis was in Conference USA and they dominated Conference USA. And of course, that league has changed a lot with football kind of changing the makeup of a lot of conferences. And now Memphis is in the American. And you know, the American just lost Connecticut back to the Big East.
Yeah, Danny Hurley in his old stomping grounds as a player.
Well. Yep. And Danny Hurley was the Rhode Island coach, the Atlantic 10 coach for many years.
Danny is lots of passion.
That's an understatement.
Coleman off the pick and roll and the flush. Speaking of passion. Picked a good time for his first field goal.
And Brad Boyd has seen enough. Timeout, Louisiana United.
And Bluff City pushing it back. Largest lead has been 7. Coleman making 6. Feel pretty good. And we talked about the passion of Will Coleman. It's brought plenty of energy to his team. This whole Memphis region weekend, round 2. And Bluff City trying to advance, building its second largest lead of the game behind Coleman's play of late.
And I love how serious Will Coleman has taken this. He's playing for pride. He wants, he was disappointed in the showing so far in the last couple years that the 2 other times Bluff City has been, or Memphis alum has been in this tournament. They wanted to have a good showing this year. They're hosting. They have an opportunity to advance to the regional final or try to get themselves to Chicago. And he wants to make sure he has everything in his tank left on this floor.
Richard cutting the deficit in half with what's his second 3 of the game. Barron wants to match. That's within his range, we found out yesterday.
He looked good shooting that one, just didn't go. Mismatch here.
Johnson, a good job not to travel.
Good job by Earl Barron to guard a quicker player there too.
And then hip check Richard.
And Barron didn't like the call, asking to stay in the game. I wonder if they're going to take him out. It looked like they may sub for him.
Jeremy Hunt, Tyler Stone at the scorer's table. Now Barron won't come out. Coleman will sit. Actually, now he will.
He was trying his best to wave off the sub. Matt Dunn was not having it. He said, "We'll get you back in the game, big fella. Relax. Have a seat."
Mosley using the screen from Packer. Good look. Offensive glass and the finish for Packer.
It's a good exchange by Packer. He set a solid screen and left it for Mosley, but he cleans up Mosley's mess.
7 now for Packer out of Wright State in the horizon.
Tylo Taylor threw that to his own bench. Those guys aren't eligible to play right now. They're not on the floor.
Rare Bluff City turnover, only their 5th of the game.
Yeah, for both teams, though. They've been taking care of the basketball. Very clean game.
I was just going to say, as enjoyable as we've had.
Yeah, not a lot of fouls, not a lot of turnovers, just good high percentage shots being taken at both ends. That's a tough one.
Bartley, not for him today. 4th 3 for him. Frank Bartley, the 4th. Team high 17.
He had 14 at halftime. And he's been exploding from downtown. Here he is again. Short that time.
Tolbert, offensive glass and offensive foul. Hunt there to take the charge.
It has not been Jordan Tolbert's day today so far. That was an opportunity for him to get on the scoreboard, but take a look at this charge. He gets it. And a good job by Hunt to seal it off and get his feet outside that circle. Players are really aware of that circle. Rarely do you see anybody get their feet stuck in there trying to take a charge. They get out of it, they get in position. Exceptional defense.
Now this is the rare upset region early on at TBT. Thomas with the shot clock cut in half. Everybody else that's left of the 4 regions that have started, it's either a 1 through 3.
I like the matchup zone, sort of what they're playing, and that could have been a 4-point play. And Bartley, the 4th right now, is on fire.
20 now for Frank Bartley. Has 5 of his team's 10 threes. Stone says, "I'll see your 3, one of my own." Earl Barron's a poker player. That would be a check.
Yeah, you mentioned Earl Barron yesterday. Making a lot of money. He's trying for $2 million for his group here.
His team down by 2, but Stone keeping them within striking distance. Brad Boyd and Louisiana United with what's a 2-point lead on Bluff City. More than halfway through the third quarter. Our winning share sent with Zell. And everybody, again, even share. Just like in our last game, the Jackson underdogs.
It's a fair way to do it, though, right?
Bartley wants more of the pie.
Oh, my. Bartley putting on a lesson in Threeconomics right now.
Can you change your share? Mid-tournament? 23 for Frank Bartley. And gets bumped, this time by Barron.
He was just 1 for 7 from beyond the arc yesterday, but right now he is unguardable from there. That was a fall-away 3 with the defender all over you. He wanted the 4-point play. Now he's getting the inbound supposedly for Frank Bartley, the 4th, putting on a show.
Posley trying to split the double, not a great decision.
Yeah, bad decision, exactly. 3-on-2.
Taylor leak into the corner and capitalizes.
They make it look easy, don't they, Tooch?
Believe it or not, the first field goal for their motor, Taylor. Packers hit one of those. Thomas forcing the issue, got caught up, and offensive foul.
Who was it? Frank Bartley, the 4th. This is good defense, too. He tried the Euro step on Bartley, not going for it. Held his ground, absorbed the contact, and got the charge. Great job defensively by him.
Well, on a roster that was put together in just a matter of weeks by Tyron Johnson. Late in the third quarter.
How they get Bartley on the ball, they're playing Posley off of it. Oh,
and almost had that one.
He thought it was in, he was walking away. Felt good.
Thomas this end. And one and done they go.
And now the ball's back in Posley's hands where he'll let Tyron Johnson bring it up.
Bartley says, why not?
I'd let him keep shooting it. Remember Vinnie Johnson, the microwave? We mentioned that old Bad Boys team. They let Vinnie Johnson shoot it till he couldn't, until his arm was about to fall off because he was so streaky.
Posley whistled for the foul. Mike Lewis, who was one of the officials to come over, all 3 of them actually did shake hands with us before the game.
Yeah, it was a nice gesture.
Mike Lewis, James Hicks, Sid Coleman, the crew out there. Everything else decided. Red Scare and Columbus crew, or Carmen's crew in Columbus. The Fort Wayne All-Stars and Loyalty is Love in Lexington. CP3 and Team Hines in Greensboro. And awaiting the winner of this one, the Jackson Underdogs from Jackson, Tennessee. Posley lost it to Coleman. Jailbreak. And running the floor, Stone. Tolbert beat him down and nearly denied by Coleman.
Oh, man. Coleman met Tolbert at the top floor. He said, take that. And Coleman certainly doesn't think he committed a foul. And this partisan crowd has to agree. But take a look at this one in transition. The delivery and the finish. A stone's throw away. And then at the other end, Tolbert thinks he's going to punch one. Will Coleman had other ideas. The crowd just saw it a replay again inside the building, and they're still convinced that Will Coleman has yet to commit that personal foul. I think I agree with him. Pretty solid play from behind. Nonetheless, Jordan Tolbert with a chance to get on the board for the first time in 24 minutes. Still denied, has yet to score today. Tough night for him.
And he and Posley have both struggled to combine 1 for 9. Tolbert just hasn't taken really many shots, only 1 field goal attempt.
Yeah, that's more about Posley than Tolbert. But Tolbert hasn't been assertive, as you're underscoring. And Posley's got 3 turnovers, 2 in the last few minutes.
Third missed free throw for Louisiana United.
So this is a kind of a matchup zone. They're switching, playing more of an area.
Hunt sold the ball fake and got himself a good look. Bartley the fourth, out of control, will go to the line.
And this crowd is really into the game. They want to see this Bluff City team in the regional final, but they have their hands full here. This is going to go down to the wire in terms of the Elam ending. It is not easy to advance in the tournament.
And some of the locals a little heated.
They may be invested, though. We talked about fans do get a share of the $2 million if you get enough votes.
Bartley the fourth, it's the only thing he really hasn't done right tonight. Hasn't committed a turnover. Has 6 made threes and shooting better than 50% from the field overall. But does have 2 missed free throws. Somehow, if you got here late, where have you been? 4 ties and 16 lead changes.
I know I wouldn't want to miss this. Or any of these regions. This has been some quality basketball all over the country for TBT on ESPN.
Offensive glass for Coleman after the Hunt miss.
Nice hands.
But couldn't save it. Johnson. They have numbers. Coleman not up the floor yet. Posley, hesitation, but his first 3 of the night.
But he hesitated because he wanted Darius Washington to guard the other person that he was throwing, and once he realized Washington wasn't going to come out, he splashed it in his eye.
Final 35 seconds of the third quarter. Washington wide open and brings them to within 1 from weighing out Darius Washington.
Isn't it amazing how you make a defensive error and have a rotation that's late, or you don't rotate at all like they did just now? You're going to pay the price. That's a sure 3 right there.
Shot clock off, end of the quarter. Bartley and travels.
Man, Hunt is in Bartley's ear right now too, boy.
And that's a savvy veteran against somebody that only finished playing college basketball a couple years ago. Washington,
good defense,
can't get it off. And at the end of 3, intensity turning up. In the City of Blues, we have liftoff with Stone.
Well,
Louisiana United into the fourth quarter with a lead thanks to this guy.
Yeah, Frank Bartley IV. We talk about Freakonomics lessons. Boy, was he giving them the business behind the arc all game long. Right here, this one against Hunt, you can see why Hunt was in his ear when he made him turn it over, because he has been chasing Frank Bartley IV all over the place, and Frank has gotten the best of him. You look there, 6 for 11 from downtown, and you get the feeling he's not done.
Played in the NBL up in Canada. Was their rookie of the year. And only 2 years removed from playing college at Louisiana.
Raging Cajuns.
Another one of them, Johnson. 15 for him and a 3-point lead again for Louisiana United. Their largest has been 5. Thomas, one-on-one with Packer. Got around him. 12 for Adonis Thomas. And Bluff City creeping back. Packer off the pick and roll, found the hot hand, Bartley.
You need to add that to that 3-point package we just showed you. I told you, he's not done.
Game high 27 for Frank Bartley, the 4th.
So they're showing a 2-3, but it's more of a match. When guys cut through, sometimes they follow them to a certain point.
Johnson matches it.
A simple fake pass, and he was able to get it. And now another turnover. And a giveaway here by Packer.
Crawford fouled. Dominique Johnson picking a good time for Bluff City to get his first field goal of the game. Azusa Pacific, where he played his college basketball. Division II. And they get a chance to take the lead yet again. 4 ties and 15 different lead changes. Thomas off the curl and back in front. That's number 16.
That was the opposite flash, because now they're really playing a true 2-3 zone, and Bluff City finally has recognized it, and they're attacking it with their zone offense.
One of these teams trying to get to the halfway point of the $2 million winner-take-all 2019 version of the tournament. Posley wants it to be his squad.
You kidding me? He didn't exactly get a shooting pass now, did he? It was nearly a turnover, but he was able to corral it with one hand and then rise and fire.
Might as well have been sitting there with Jordan Tolbert right in front of their bench.
Man.
Crawford. Thomas nearly got the tap and a foul on the rebound. We're less than 3 minutes away from our Elam ending.
Take a look at this last play, though. See the catch? That's what I'm talking about right there. That left hand, he speared that out of the air with one hand, saved what was a short turnover, and he says, why don't I step up and shoot an NBA level 3, nothing but net. Marcus Posley.
Has not shot well today, but it has not affected his confidence.
No, it hasn't.
You and I have seen too much of him over the years to know that bad shooting night isn't going to throw him off.
Nope. One of St. Bonaventure's finest right there.
Saw him hang 47 on St. Joseph's in a gym in Rochester. Woo. The Light Tower Classic a few years back.
You say 47?
47.
Oh, man.
65 apiece after Thomas makes both the free throws. He has 16. Johnson with a good look and another one. They have 15 made threes as a team.
And Adonis Thomas looked at Mike Dunn, the head coach, Matt Dunn, and said, we're not running that defense anymore.
Johnson knocked it into the backcourt. Shot clock cut in half. 2 minutes away, a little over 2 minutes from the Elam ending. Coleman off the setup, got it pinned. Johnson slapped it off the glass.
And look at Johnson running the floor, too. He beat everybody down, but Richard didn't see him.
Now Richard. Johnson the offensive rebound and a fresh shot clock.
And right now, Louisiana United is in position to go be ahead in the Elam ending. We're about a minute and change away.
Posley couldn't get the bounce.
This is a big session right here because you want to go into this Elam ending with the lead if you can in a close game. Every little bit counts.
Crawford. Washington cleaning the glass.
Nice hands.
It's Bartley coming up at the opposite end. Packer leaking out. Unselfish, and Posley bangs it home.
That is a great play by Packer, because he would have got that shot beat up on the glass. He realized it, saw a wide open Posley, and Posley able to get it out to the corner. Jumper.
The sniper from Olean with another one. Well, in a region that has been chock full of upsets, Louisiana United fixing to maybe be the architect of another one. Tyron Johnson had to craft this roster in just a few weeks. Boy, are they glad they have Marcus Posley.
Pose was a guy that they met last year in Richmond in that region a year ago. They added him to the roster, and he has paid dividends indeed.
It's a little over 900 miles and a 13-hour trip in the car from where he went to school at St. Bonaventure. Marcus Posley, though, as we've seen, ability that's worldwide.
He's hit a couple of big ones here down the stretch, and that's what he's known for.
Acceleration for Crawford, everything but the finish.
Yeah, he thought he was fouled. But Packer did whack him a little bit, but he just didn't finish that shot, and they needed it. Now we're less than a minute from the 4-minute mark, and of course, under 4 minutes, we're in Elam ending time on the first dead ball.
Richard had to contort the body.
They need to stop, and they need to score here. Again, you want to get as close as you can so that your is not as high.
Crawford and Thomas with a good tap of the rebound. Feel like you have to get a bucket here.
Have to. And I felt like they should have tried to get a quick one. And Posley, that's just the third team foul, so they're not in the bonus yet. I'm going to take it out on the side.
You might as well at this point, as long as they're not shooting. You can almost wind it down under 4 minutes and then take a foul.
I wouldn't want to foul, but I do want to stop the clock somehow. And honestly, you probably want to get your possession too.
That's true.
A lot of strategy around this Elam ending, huh?
Stone with a big miss.
So now, if you take the possession and miss, you're going to give them another possession. So you probably just call the timeout.
And that's exactly what Brad Boyd will do.
Because it's a gamble. If you take a shot and don't get the rebound or don't score, now they're going to have a run out.
We have a 1 versus 3 in 2 regions, a 1 and a 2. Could this be a 6 and an 8? Elam ending is coming up to decide it. Well, this was just a day ago, round 1. For Bluff City, Chris Crawford, that stone cold killer mentality. And ended up getting the Elam ending over Team 901, 92-80. And able to slap the logo up there on the tournament bracket. It's become a tradition. And what's the 6th year of TBT? Here in the Memphis region, trying to decide who ends up in the regional final tomorrow to meet the 8 seed Jackson Underdogs.
Target score of 79. Bluff City 14 points away. Of course, just 8 away for Louisiana United. But it's not out of reach.
Johnson and couldn't get an Elam ending. Couldn't get it any closer anyway to start. But gets it right back off of the Bluff City miss. Posley maybe feeling it a little too much from the beginning of the quarter.
Keep shooting. Keep shooting.
And Stone able to get ahead. A big day for Tyler Stone, and it quells an over 3-minute scoring drought for Bluff City.
12 points in just 14 minutes of action, for plus a little bit of Elam here for Tyler Stone.
Richard with a missile. Thomas, leak out. Took some contact, but no call. And they're to within 2.
And psychologically, if you let Bluff City tie this game, now all of a sudden you're both looking at the same distance from that target score.
+10 versus +8 right now. Posley got around Stone, the scoop.
There was no help there. You had to stay with shooters. Johnson, Bartley, the fourth, Packer, they're all spacing the floor.
Taylor gets some separation, stayed with it. Thomas gets the tap. 4 straight for Adonis Thomas.
And that's a big bucket by Adonis Thomas. They needed it. Got to keep this thing close. 20 points now for Thomas on 8 of 12 shooting.
Posley gets fouled. The good news is that's only the first team foul on Bluff City.
But in this Elam ending, it's been Adonis Thomas who has gotten it done offensively for Bluff City right there, getting out in transition, and then a little cleanup around the bucket for his second Elam ending bucket of the night.
Has averaged 15 points at TBT. Posley with 6 on the shot clock. Big offensive rebound. Richard with the reverse layup.
That's huge. And it's clear who Louisiana United feels is their closer. Marcus Posley didn't convert, but Richard with the putback.
Thomas, look at that.
Adonis Thomas has been ignited here in the latter part of the game. That was special.
6 of his 22 post-Elam dead ball. +4 versus +6. Louisiana United still in the driver's seat.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of margin of error. This Tigers team is coming at you.
And there's one that could be costly. Thomas gets it back. Nearly had another one.
Ooh, the lid would have come off the building if he had made that. That would have given them the lead.
Richard angled to the cup and another layup.
Oh, hit a wet spot there, but it looks like it's going to be okay.
They're 2 away from moving on with only 6 on their roster.
This is quite a development. Bluff City now down to their last out, so to speak.
Thomas and Crawford, the 2 best closers. He got the separation in the finger roll.
Adonis Thomas has played like a god here in the late going. 24 points now, keeping Bluff City in it for the moment.
Our conversation with Will Coleman leading up to this one this week. Why do you need Adonis Thomas on your team? The response, because he's unguardable 1 through 4.
He really is, though. I mean, he's able to create space there and then get a finger roll, but he can shoot from the perimeter. He's so strong, so explosive, and skilled. That is a difficult package to stop.
He has 8 straight points. And Bluff City, 5 of its last 7 from the field to be at this point. The roster crafted by Will Coleman. Knew for a long time the guys that he wanted to have. Tyron Johnson, it was just a matter of a couple weeks putting together a Louisiana United squad that was previously bamboozled by their former GM.
When you think about the effort and energy it takes to put one of these teams together, let alone when you're still an active player like these guys are, it just really makes it difficult when you lose in the first round, whoever it is. And Will Coleman will be extremely disappointed if they don't survive this, but they need to stop here to score. This could get really interesting.
Don't want to send anybody to the line. Do have fouls to give. Posley trying to go to the basket. And saved, but deflected. Stone got a hand on it to Taylor.
Man, Tolbert threw that away at a key moment.
Thomas, Crawford, and they're up! Chris Crawford, closer to closer, Thomas to Crawford.
Again, if you're Bluff City, you just need a stop and a score, and you advance.
Richard, Johnson for the win. Tolbert, Johnson, second chance. Good night for Memphis.
Oh my goodness.
The GM calls game.
Tooch, coffee is for closers. Get that man a cup of joe.
Tyron Johnson, with his fourth three of the basketball game, puts him over 20 for the contest and sends Louisiana United into the regional final.
Give Jordan Talbert a lot of credit for hustling to get a second chance opportunity and then recognizing that his GM, his go-to guy in the corner with the fate of Bluff City in his hands, it's Tyron Johnson who splashes it from three and sends the host team packing here in TBT. What a finish.
They thought they would get a seventh player in Bernard King. Turned out they didn't need him. Tyron Johnson, 44 points in 2 games. And is now 7 of 14 from 3 to start TBT here in Memphis. How about it, Tim Scarborough?
What a finish, though. And you have to give this Bluff City team a lot of credit because they did not make it easy on Louisiana United to close that game. What a comeback.
Bartley had the hot hand, so he's the one to place the logo up on the bracket.
Woo. Well, how about Adonis Thomas late? Put his team on his back too little too late. And you have to feel bad for Will Coleman and company. This Memphis, they had to host this tournament. They still have yet to advance past this round.
The upset region proving to be just that here in the City of Blues.
Wow.
The home team with the Blues.
No doubt. Where's BB King when you need him, right?
Well, we'll get everything started across the board. The first region, Columbus at noon, Lexington at 2, and then Greensboro and right here in Memphis at 3. 8 versus 6, Jackson Underdogs and Louisiana United. For Tim Scarborough, Shelby Wilson, and our entire crew, Matt Martucci says so long. See you tomorrow, 3 Eastern, 2 Central, TBT 2019.